Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Something to Talk About. I'm your host, Jay. How's everyone doing today? I'm feeling good. On today's episode, I do have something to talk about: the failed attempt at Tom Sandoval's redemption arc story. At this point, it's embarrassing for Sandoval and Bravo's production team and annoying for us, viewers. But before I dive more about why I can't stand the worm with a mustache, if you would like to have one of your talents, artists on the show, or you're a celebrity and you have something to talk about, it would be my pleasure to have you on Something to Talk About with Jay podcast. All you have to do is reach out by sending us an email inquiry at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com. For advertisements, sponsorship inquiries, or have us promote your brand and review your products in one of our episodes or on our website, listen up. Want to advertise or sponsor Something to Talk About podcast? Send us an email at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com. To keep up with all the episodes, subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts or on all platforms where podcasts are available. Something to Talk About podcast is your one-stop destination for unapologetic, authentic conversations that you won't get anywhere else. We're not afraid to say it just the way we mean it. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Also, make sure to follow Something to Talk About on all social media platforms, on Instagram and YouTube at Something to Talk About with Jay, TikTok at Something to Talk About Pod, and on X at STTA Pod. Now, raise the volume up because I have something to talk about. Before I start, I want people to remember the season was filmed just 5 months after the Sandoval saga, so for Ariana, the hurt is still fresh. I read a lot of people's comments saying Ariana needs to get over it and move on. All I have to say to those people is how long it took you to move on from your past breakups. This was not your typical cheating story. Imagine you consider someone as one of your best friends. You constantly defending that person because the rest of your group friends don't like her. You invite her to live with you and your boyfriend because she didn't have nowhere to go. You blindly trust that person. She's your confidant. You talk to her about your relationship problems that you have with said boyfriend. And you come to find out that all this time, this bitch was having an affair with your man behind your back in your own home? It couldn't be me. They both took advantage of Ariana going out of town to her grandma's funeral to have sex in Ariana's home. Like, are you all crazy? Anyone that is or has put the blame on Ariana is just mentally unstable. Yes, I said it. Y'all are mentally unstable. Because I know that if it was me, I would be behind bars right now. Seriously. Because there's no way. There's no way I would have put up with that level of disrespect. This is on another level. And I don't think most understand that. Yes, some may say, well, Ariana did the same thing to Kristen. No, she didn't. And you know why? They were never friends. Her and Kristen were never friends. They were never best friends. And they hated each other. That's the difference. Cheating is cheating, but y'all can compare both situations. Plus, Kristen was having an affair with Jax, but we won't go there, okay? Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode of Something to Talk About with Jay Podcast. Subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate and leave us a review. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to Something to Talk About with your host, Jay. As we can clearly witness this season, It's all about making Ariana the bad guy while trying to make Tom look like the victim. They're trying to make us have sympathy for him because he supposedly had suicidal thoughts. If it was anyone else, it could be believable. But Tom Sandoval? Listen, whenever it's about suicide talks, we definitely need to be careful of how we approach this topic. But Sandoval loves himself too damn much to even attempt to end his life, okay? So, no, I don't buy that. It's so disturbing to see what Bravo's production team and Lisa Vanderpump are trying to do, and it's sick to play with such an important subject that so many are struggling with. For real. Let's not forget how hard Sheena and Lauren from Utah are working hard to convince the viewers that after all, Sandoval ain't a bad guy and he deserves another chance and what he did wasn't that bad. I want to puke right now. These two broads are two of the most annoying bitches I've ever seen. Lala, remember when you didn't want nobody to talk or have any type of relationship with Randall? And you still don't? And based on how weird Sheena is defending Tom and crying for Sandoval's friendship, it makes me wonder if there's more to the story between these two. Did something romantically happen between Sheena and Tom? Everyone is jealous of Ariana's business opportunities, and of course, they're hating on her success. They would rather see her miserable and depressed than thriving and living her best life. The only real friend Ariana has left in that show is Katie. Tom is the type of person that will do good deeds but with an agenda, because that's how narcissist works. That way, when shit hits the fan, people will say, but he gave me money when I needed it, therefore he's not that bad. At the end of the day, yes, we all do mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But don't force others to forgive someone that caused them pain on your timeline because you said so. When people express and let you know their boundaries, please listen and respect them enough to allow that person to heal, however long that will take. It's not up to you. And no matter how hard they all try to feed us Tom's redemption arc garbage, nobody's buying it because we all can see how insufferable he is. The guy compared himself to George Floyd. Come on. Like what? And he still have a job? How is not fired after that? To be honest, I really hope this is the last season of Vanderpump Rules because we won't stand for another season of making Ariana the problem. Well, that's a wrap for episode 2. Thanks for joining me this week on Something to Talk About. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you'll never miss a show. For any feedbacks on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Something to Talk About with J, or write us an email at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com. Also, please don't hesitate to tell us which topics you would like us to cover in future episodes. To get in touch, drop us a line in the comments section or send us a message on social media. Until next time, happy podcasting and thanks for listening. Bye!